Hello and welcome to Mad Hatter News. I am your host, Sarah, and if you are new here, I also am. This is my first podcast episode of Mad Hatter News, but I have been on YouTube and on TikTok for a while. If you want to follow me on TikTok, I am on Tea Time with Sarah, and my backup page is Boiling Over. Now, a little bit about me. I am an ex-reporter in Washington, D.C., and I've turned into a Chicago-based comedian. So that's what I do now. And the whole reason why I got out of the news was because the news is a lie. It's a complete lie. I wanted to expose the real news, the real tea on my TikTok, and I promptly got banned. I got banned. And then I came back 3 months later after my ban was lifted, and I'm continuing to post about the news. I'm very passionate about the news. I always have been. When I was 7 years old, I was writing essays about politics. Of course, I was just regurgitating everything my dad was saying, but I developed my own consciousness after that, and I've been about the news ever since. The sad thing is when I went to school, when I went to college to be in the news, and then I finally got my big girl job in DC at several different stations, by the way. I was working in radio and TV and stuff like that. I realized that everything is completely manipulated and it is all lies. And it was very disheartening for me to realize that as a young buck. And that's why I got out of it. But now I talk about the news on my TikTok. And this podcast is going to be talking about all of the news that I've been talking about on my TikTok for the past week. We kind of review it here. We talk about this madness that's been going down. The first thing that I want to talk about, though, is a video I posted about a day and a half ago regarding the Shein influencer trip that just occurred. This video I just posted about a day and a half ago already has 1.3 million views, okay? And out of the 4,000 comments, they're mostly women commenting in this comment section because Shein is, if you don't know, a Chinese-based fast fashion company. They sell shorts for $5. They sell crochet for crocheted sweaters for $10. And it's like, where do you think that's coming from? Who do you think's making these products? If you don't know anything about fabric, you can't make crochet on a machine. It's not possible. You have to make it by hand. Crochet takes hours, 10, 20 hours to make one single product, and they're selling it for $10. This is sweatshop stuff, okay? And they've come under extreme scrutiny in the past few years because of these sweatshops and exposés that have been done by Channel 4 and different investigative journalists that have gone over there undercover in these factories and seen just horrific things. Right. So Shein tried to change their image and brought a bunch of influencers on an all expense paid trip to China. All expense paid. Right. So these influencers go to China, go into these factories, highly curated factories, and see that everything's clean. Everything's running automated. Wow. There's robots in charge of everything. You know what's really funny? One of the influencers were like, oh, no one's even sweating here. We're the ones sweating. That's a direct quote. They know that Shein has been known for sweatshops. They know. But what they did was they went over there and they believed this BS they were being fed by this communist regime-run country. And they didn't think they were a part of a propaganda machine right now? They didn't think they were being puppets in a propaganda tactic? How dumb do you have to be? How dumb do you have to be? Honestly. But of course, people will jump at the opportunity to feel important. So they do. And that's what happened. One of them even said, oh, I'm an investigative journalist, so this is up my alley or something like that. I'm like, how dare you say you're an investigative journalist? You are a TikToker with less followers than me. How dare you? And when I say that, it doesn't really matter how many followers you have, right? But something I wanted to point out about it was that these people had a fair amount of followers, right? But obviously they either don't have brain cells or don't care about the public, because they're going to accept deals from these companies. They're going to be puppets for these companies because they get paid. People just, I mean, can we say hoe out? People hoe out for money. So many people do it. But the people who actually care about the public with brain cells and feel like they have a responsibility to the earth are not the ones making money. I'm not making money on TikTok. I'm not making any money. So that goes to show you what hoeing out does. Gets you money, but it also gets you criticized. What's really interesting about this influencer trip is that Shein was extremely smart in their tactic with the influencers that they selected. These influencers were underrepresented in fashion. They were underrepresented in society. I mean, we're talking about trans, non-binary, plus size, different minority groups going on this trip. And Shein, I'm sure, was thinking, if anybody criticizes these influencers on their trip, people are going to just defend these influencers and say, oh, you're just a bigot. How dare you criticize them? You know, they're getting their bag or whatever. But that's not what happened. People saw through the BS. They saw this was a propaganda video for China. And Shein was using these American underrepresented influencers. How sick. How sick. And they vastly underestimated our intelligence because we called them out. To the point that these influencers have taken these videos off their pages entirely. Shein still has a few up. I was able to get some clips from these videos before they were mostly taken down. But it is just sick what people will believe. And then I posted a video of me getting poisoned by Shein products. I was poisoned by Shein. I like to do my nails myself. If you're watching me on YouTube, by the way, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, click that bell. But it's at Tea Time with Sarah. So go ahead and look that up. But my nails, I don't know if you can see. I did these myself, right? So I like doing my nails myself. And I used foils, like foil for your nails, directly from the Shein site. Now, this was about 8 months ago, and I was poisoned. I had to go to the emergency room. It was awful. It was completely awful. I was just numb all the way up to my elbow, all the way up to my shoulder. It was terrible. And I thought I might, have my heart stop or something terrible might happen to me. So I got all these prescriptions. They made me do a detox. There was a lot going on. And since that video got 4 million views, Shein reached out to me and said that they did their own internal investigation and showed me that they had lead and mercury in their products. That's what the lab results showed. But the interesting thing about this is that Shein was trying to tell me that these products were under the U.S. limit, which it was. The mercury and lead content in those nail foils was under the U.S. limit. But then that goes to show you that the U.S. allows lead and mercury in these products. Why? It can be done without all of that. Like, what? And I mentioned like 4,000 comments, over 4,000 comments on this video already that I just posted the other day or a couple days ago. Not many men commenting. Not many men. And the only man that I saw that commented was like, wow, that's definitely a lot of lead content, but not much mercury. I'm sorry, sir. Mercury, 1 drop of mercury can stop your heart. It will stop your heart. You will die. 1 drop of mercury on your skin, it will absorb immediately. You're dead. Look it up. It's happened before to scientists. And not just that, not even on your skin. It can go through gloves. One drop gets on a glove, it will go through that glove and seep into your skin. Mercury is no joke. You will die. And this guy is saying, oh, that's not that much mercury. Excuse me, sir. How about the fact that we live in a patriarchal society? We need you to back us up because we can't really do much as women. To be honest, we really can't. We're still fighting for equality. Men can say that we're equal. We're not, okay? We're not, equal. We're not equal. We're not. And that goes to show there's no men in my comments talking. No one's trying to defend us when it comes to the poisons in our products. Nobody. Yet we make up 50% of the country. It is sick. It's sick. By the way, I am drinking. If you see me on YouTube right now, I am drinking out of my cute little teacup, but I'm drinking Whole Life Tea from wholelifetea.com. It is a small business based out of Utah. It is run by a mom of 4. I believe she has 4 kids. Amazing tea. It is the same price as what you would get in these shitty little tea bags from any store. But hers looks like potpourri. She's been an herbalist for the past 10 years. So you go to wholelifetea.com and enter the code TEATIME. You'll get 20% off your order every single time. And that's my code, TEATIME, on wholelifetea.com. So go ahead and do that. It's really good for gifts. And I'm telling you, ooh, this tea is so good. I'm drinking raspberry lemonade, so it's excellent for the summer. But yeah, so that's what's been going down on my TikTok news for the past couple days. There are people who are saying, oh yeah, go to thrift stores and get cheap clothes there. But then there are people also saying, hey, I work in a thrift store and we get Shein products. I'm sorry, why are you accepting Shein products? There's lead in the fabrics. Why are you making clothes with lead in them? Why? It's insanity. It's complete insanity. And the biggest insanity was this Shein influencer trip that was complete propaganda. I'm still mad about that. I'm still mad. I can't believe it. And then also, people were asking about Temu just from that video. People are asking about Temu. Temu is the #1 most downloaded app in America right now. And, oh man, Temu. They sell power tools for less than $5. They sell jewelry for less than $1. Clothes for $1. Listen, we're not stupid. Every single one of us knows that if we're getting things for that cheap, it's being made with forced labor. It's being made in sweatshops. We're not stupid, right? But a lot of people like to play stupid. We all like to play stupid and be like, oh my God, no one ever told me. You know. Okay? So that's what they're doing for Temu. The tea on Temu is that the Jerusalem Post was reporting its headquarters are in Boston, Massachusetts, but I knew that couldn't be true. I knew it. I mean, we all know that. You look at these prices, there's no way this is coming from the United States of America. There's no way. So I kept looking, and guess what I found? A congressional report that came out last week accusing Temu of operating out of a region in China that is illegal for U.S. citizens to buy from because they are known for their slavery in their factories. Now, this is different than Shein. Shein is kind of forced labor, for sure. A lot of questionable things going down in there. No human rights whatsoever, not really. But at least they can leave. They can leave, right? Maybe they don't have many options to leave, unfortunately. I don't really know what the whole deal is there, but they're not enslaved, right? There's a fine line, but that line has been crossed in the Xinjiang region of China, which is a part of China that we do not F with in the United States. We don't F with them. It's illegal to F with them, right? But that is where a lot of the products from Temu are being created. And that's creating a huge problem for international trade right now. Also, because things are so cheap, just a side note, So many people, like I said, the number one most downloaded app in the United States right now. So many people are buying from Temu that they're completely taking over the postal service. Postal workers are exhausted. There's so many postal workers making videos right now about how exhausted they are delivering these Temu packages because everything's like 5 cents. Guys, you know if it's 5 cents, it's being made with slaves. But of course, people don't care about that. Stop shopping from them, you guys. Please. Another thing that I posted about this week, it only has like 22K views right now, but it's the topic of lab-grown meat being approved to be sold in the United States. Now, this lab-grown meat was supposed to be like in the far future, right? No, it's not. It's not in the future now. It's the future is now, basically. And they're taking cells from actual meat and creating it in a lab. What these scientists are trying to say, and I showed them saying this on my video on TikTok. Once again, follow me at Temu Sarah if you want to see all the hot goss that we're going to be talking about on Mad Hatter News. Everything is madness. But this lab-grown meat is not real meat. These scientists are trying to say it's biologically equal. It is not. There's no way. This lab-grown meat is not biologically equal. Now, if you've ever had an organic chicken breast, let's say, and then you've gone over to a friend's house, maybe they live on a farm or they are from a different culture, what have you, where they kill that animal on the day of the meal, and you've eaten that animal, it tastes different. Both organic, chicken breast you buy in the grocery store, chicken you get at your friend's house that was just killed, right? Both organic, but one tastes a lot better, and it's the one that was recently dead. I mean, I'm just saying, right? It's obvious. The taste difference is undeniable, okay? You cannot tell me that what is being grown in this lab is biologically equal to a real chicken. It's not. What the chicken eats changes that meat, changes the chicken's body. What that chicken goes through, even epigenetics of that chicken, what their ancestors have gone through. The epigenetics is real. It changes your DNA. Everything changes this chicken. Obviously, hormones are going to change this chicken. If it's been injected with hormones at any point and you're taking the cells from an hormone-injected chicken, I mean, it's going to change it. It's not biologically the same. And for them to say that is completely irresponsible and dumb. It's just dumb. And at the end of the day, we're dumb, but we're not that dumb, right? It's going to be called, what is it called? Cell cultivated. It has to be labeled as cell cultivated in stores. But if you're eating lab-grown chicken in a restaurant, they don't have to tell you that it's not real chicken. They don't have to tell you that. They don't. So we're probably going to be eating that pretty soon. Lab-grown chicken. Wow. It's really sick. Some of the stories that I've been seeing online, and of course, I haven't looked too much into it, but I have heard that there's not enough beef in this country to be supplying all of these businesses, all these grocery stores, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. There's not enough beef in this country to even supply McDonald's itself, just McDonald's. So how is there so much beef everywhere? Where's this beef coming from? And I've seen a lot of videos about people shocked. They seem very genuinely shocked. And if they're not genuinely shocked, and if this isn't happening to them, they are Oscar-worthy winning actors, because so many people are coming out finding human teeth in their burger patties from McDonald's. And they're trying to say that it's a conspiracy. Of course, we don't know if this is real, but they're trying to say, wow, 100,000 people have disappeared from the border in the past year that were detained. Where are they? Are these humans that are being used for meat in this country? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised with how evil the government is. And I know that I live once in a very amazing country where I'm able to say that on a podcast. I'm not taking my freedoms for granted whatsoever. I know that I am very lucky to live in the United States where I can say that, at least for now. But that's the thing. We need to make sure that we're taking note of these things. We're listening when people are saying things like this, not silencing them, maybe looking a little bit more into it, because there's definitely freedoms in this country. We are lucky to be here if we live in the United States. However, we need to hold them accountable. There's some evil stuff going on, and I would not be surprised at all if they were really taking the people from the border and grinding them up. I cannot eat at McDonald's anymore after hearing that. There's also a lot of other things to do with McDonald's that we're not going to get in today, because we're just going to talk about the news that's been going down this past week on my TikToks and what people are saying. Some people were saying that they wanted the lab-grown meat, that they thought it was a good idea, but mostly people were saying, I've had friends who can't have dairy and then went to Europe and could eat dairy with no issues. Yeah. That's because we are adding so much BS to our food here. And something I want to say too is that the environment that we live in, the chemtrails, I mean, this is a real thing. I know a lot of people have seen in the past few weeks all of that horrible stuff that was going on in New York, where people had to wear masks. The sky was orange. They didn't know it was in the air. They said it was coming from the Canadian wildfires, but then it spread to Chicago. I'm in Chicago right now. It spread to Chicago, and it did smell like a fire the other day when I walked outside. Everything was smoky in the streets. But then the next day, it smelled like chemicals. The inside of my nose was burning, as if, you know, when you sniff a chemical, the inside of your nose burns a little bit. That's what it was like when I walked outside. This is not a wildfire. Please. We're not that stupid, right? We're not that stupid. There's something in the air. And you know also how I know that? If you see me on YouTube right now, you can see my lips. You might be able to see how they're cracked, chapped. They're also kind of big. They're swollen. My entire face is swollen. It's more swollen than it. I mean, this is not... My face is entirely inflamed. And that only happens when I have had chemical poisoning. It happened when I was poisoned by Shein. It happened when I was poisoned by fertilizer a couple years back. And now my face is inflamed again and my lips are swelling again. Why? It's definitely chemicals. There are chemicals in the air. No one can tell me anything different. I know that there are chemicals in the air. Something's going on. Our government doesn't care about us. We all know that, right? What are other people saying? They're saying, oh, with the lab-grown chicken, do we have to ask restaurants if we don't want lab-grown chicken? Well, it's highly likely that the waiters and the waitresses, servers will not know where the meat came from. They literally don't even get a paycheck. Their paycheck is your tip. They don't know where the meat came from, you guys. And the managers probably don't know either. And if they do, they're definitely not going to tell you. They're going to say it's all natural. Trust me, I worked in the restaurant industry for years. They're not going to tell you. Okay? There's some people saying, I'm so exhausted. Girl, I'm exhausted too. It's exhausting when you know about what's really going on in this country. But that's what Mad Hatter News is for. To talk about the madness that's going on, and just be aware of it. Because at the end of the day, right, there's not much we can do in the moment. But if we're aware of what's going down, and if more people are aware, then more people can do something when the time strikes. When the iron gets hot, we can strike. You know what I'm saying? We need to really stuck up for our fellow citizens, no matter what, because at the end of the day, they're trying to divide us And I'm kind of going on a tangent right now. I sound like a Vietnam vet or something. But at the end of the day, they're trying to divide us, but we are all the same. We're all, at least if we're in the States, we're American, right? We need to look out for each other, and we need to stand up for what America was supposed to be, which is freedom for all, not just a select few people who are now running the whole freaking country, which is not fair. Ay, ay, ay. What a mess. What a mess. I'm not even going to talk about the Titan thing or that submarine. It's just so beat down already. But yeah, a submarine went down with a bunch of billionaires on it and nobody really cared. The public didn't care. And that's because when billionaires give $250,000 just to go on a trip to go see the Titanic, when that $250,000 is more than what one person or one family will ever see in their bank account in their entire lives, yeah, people don't care. People don't care about you. Sorry, people don't care. And that's just the fact of the matter. People are saying now more and more, eat the rich. Eat the rich, people are saying. I mean, back in the French Revolution, it's just as bad. It was just as bad when they beheaded Marie Antoinette, wasn't it? Just as bad then as it is now in the States, but we're not doing anything? Interesting. I'm just saying. Also, on my backup page, this one is for my backup page, but people were very interested in this story. There's thawing of Arctic permafrost that's threatening to release decades-old toxic waste. Actually, it's already releasing this into the ocean. Factories were built on permafrost in the Siberian tundra, right? And the people who were in these factories were allowing this toxic waste, I'm talking mercury, lead, all of this stuff, to be seeping into arsenic. Oh my gosh, arsenic, seeping into the permafrost. But what happens is when these people allowing this to happen, we're allowing it to happen, they're probably thinking, oh, well, it's not going to affect us. We're going to be long dead before the earth goes through its natural cycle of thawing this out, warming, making the Arctic tropical again, and then it'll go back to being frozen, and we're going to be long gone. No, the future's now. It's defrosting, babe. Now all of this arsenic is going into the ocean, and these currents are going to Japan, Korea, California. They're going to Thailand. They're affecting the fish, all of the marine life. Where are you getting your seafood from? The ocean. This toxic waste is now in the ocean that was supposed to be in the permafrost, where it shouldn't have been in the permafrost in the first place, but it was thought to probably going to be staying there for at least 10,000 years. No, not anymore. Not anymore. It is... The toxic waste is being released. Insane. People are just commenting on this. Somebody said, not humans. Humans aren't doing this. Men are doing this. Men did this. That's true. Men did do this. It's not women, for sure. The patriarchy we live in. The one thing that we can say is that it's not us. That's not us. Some people are saying, who cares about the future? We have to get rid of these people. They just don't care. We are so effed. This isn't scientists that were doing this. These were morons trying to make a buck. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Someone just said, period. So yeah, that's happening right now. It's just a mess. It's a complete mess. Also, side note, it is summertime and tourists are going to Yellowstone National Park and all the national parks trying to get their vacation on or whatever, but they're touching wildlife. Don't touch wildlife because their herds will not accept them anymore. And that's a big thing that's come out in the news lately is you need to keep your grimy hands off of the wildlife. You are affecting ecosystems. You're affecting herds. They are abandoning their cubs. They're abandoning like this one bison that was struggling to get across the river to meet its herd and its mom. It might have unfortunately drowned if it hadn't been intercepted by this human being, but that's the problem. The human being did go in. They took the bison out of the water, and the mom abandoned it. They didn't want it. The whole herd left, and they had to euthanize this bison calf because the herd left it. They didn't want it. They abandoned it. I don't know why they couldn't have put it in a sanctuary. I'm sure there's a story to that. I don't know why it had to be euthanized, but they did. They euthanized it because a person tried to be Superman that day. It's sick. People are saying, I hope they face consequences. That's funny because like, it does say don't touch the wildlife. It does say that. Maybe he should have been fined to learn his lesson, but I mean, people are so quick to be to attack online simple mistakes that have horrible repercussions, obviously. But there's some people saying his intentions were good, he just didn't know, but they could have sent the calf to a sanctuary. I agree with that. They definitely should have. Do not F with nature, someone says. It will do its thing. All you can do is watch. That's absolutely true. People are mad that it was euthanized. People are saying, I hate people. People are saying euthanize the tourists and any other people who do this. See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all are wild. This is Mad Hatter News, baby. People are cray-cray in the comments, you guys. Especially my followers. Y'all are wild. But, that's really all I want to talk about today. This has been the first episode of Mad Hatter News, so I'm sure it's going to get better with time. The first episode is never the greatest, but hopefully you do follow me here, wherever you are watching this, streaming platform or YouTube. Make sure that you like and subscribe, follow, do all the things you got to do so you don't miss an episode. We're going to be covering all of the news that's been going down in the past week, like I said, on my TikTok, things that have gone viral, things that people are saying, and things you need to know. Once again, I am sponsored by Whole Life Tea out of Utah. It's a small business. Enter my code at TEATIME on wholelifetea.com and get 20% off of every purchase. It's not just tea on there. It's tea cups, all these wonderful tea accessories. There's kettles, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you go to that and put in my code. But for now, I guess I'm just going to say sayonara, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye.